We have as many of you to speak. So I will start with Senator Chirankei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I want just to react to the statement by the Senate Minority Leader and agree with government that sometimes it is necessary to withdraw the police, especially from the people who are doing illegal demonstrations, Mr. Speaker. How can you send a police officer to fight another police officer? And that is why we have had allegations where bullets have been used by the same bodyguards who are guiding minority leaders and Azimio to shoot ordinary Kenyans, and that is why one police officer has been killed, Mr. Speaker. Over 300 police officers are recuperating in hospital, Mr. Speaker. A chief house has been banned, Mr. Speaker, in Siaya and in Nyamira, Mr. Speaker. How can you allow people to get police, to go and use the police to fight their colleagues, Mr. Speaker? So I find this statement that we must be told, outside what they are alleging that there is police brutality. Mr. Speaker, I remember, and it is shocking, the people who are shouting the highest when our security, Mr. Speaker, was being withdrawn by Uhuru, Kenyatta and Raila, odinga, and then they used to celebrate here. There is nothing unusual for government to get signal and remove your bodyguards, Mr. Speaker. And I remember, Mr. Speaker, we even went to court to challenge. But the courts told us that Inspector General...
Point of order, Senator Eddy.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on point of order number 105. And I wanted to know whether my good friend, honestly, Senator Chirankei, although sometimes very emotive, is in order to point at me and say that during the time that Uhuru, Kenyatta, or whoever the government was that denied some people security, I was happy. I was not in this house. I was not a member of any place in this house. Is he in order to point at me and impute improper motive, Mr. Speaker, on me?
Certainly, Senator Chirankei, you're out of order. The Honorable Senator certainly did not contribute to whatever you went through, and please do not in any way refer or in any way bring him to your statement that indeed Senator Eddy was involved in the withdrawal of security then when you were going through that withdrawal. That was, I believe, in the third Senate. In the third Senate. That's what you're referring, Senator Chirankei. Yes, Senator Eddy wasn't in the House. He was not even a leader, a political leader then. So there's no way he could have had that influence to warrant that. So kindly do not refer to Senator Eddy in this set.
In conclusion, I'm aware Senator Eddy was being thrashed at that time by the current the current governor of Migori, Ochilo Ayako, was thrashing Senator Eddy, and he didn't make it at that time. But I have not mentioned names, Mr. Speaker. I think answered can. In conclusion, what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, you cannot say the government in office is illegitimate, then you want the same government to provide with you security. How? We cannot allow, and you cannot talk about police brutality and fail to recognize that the police have been killed and injured, Mr. Speaker. So I oppose this statement.
Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From my perspective, the doctrine of separation of powers, we have a constitution that has created 3 arms of government. In my understanding of this particular doctrine, there is no arm of government that is superior to the other. In fact, Mr. Speaker, all of us in this House are members of the government of Kenya because of the fact that we are members of an arm of government. You must always make the distinction in your head between the government and the political parties that are in power. There is a big difference between ODM, the political party, and the minority leadership or the minority side here in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I have always asked myself, how did it begin that people elected to an arm of government such as Parliament required to be provided state security? And in fact, if you pursue that line of reasoning and tie it with what I have said about these arms of government being separate but interdependent, I would actually propose a time when just the way that Parliament has its own assets, like the vehicle that I have been provided for as a leader in this House, we need to have our own police force that does not take directions from anybody other than the leadership of Parliament. Because, Mr. Speaker, this is my view.
Order,
this is
members.
My view.
May the senator be heard in silence.
Speaker, this heckling that I experience from the majority side is what boils my blood sometimes. Then I find myself in hot soup with your seat.
Calm down,
but Mr.
Senator
Speaker,
Sifuna, calm
I will do my best. I have a group of Catholic bishops who are praying for me to ignore the people who try to provoke me on this side. But Mr. Speaker, the point that I was making is that just the way Parliament has its own assets, its own budget, I think when it comes to the security of members, the same should apply. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Keroche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. And I want just to say that I'm with these minority side senators, for I can imagine how they are feeling without the security. But I think they know the solution of all this. Thank you. They know the solution of all this. They know we have very understanding CS of security. They just need to close across and go and apologize for the hard work, the unnecessary work they've made the CS of the security do for the last maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks or a month. Yes. I think it, and this business community complaining all the time, yes, what they've gone through, losses. I'm sure you've seen the press conferences that they've been calling. They are losing 2.8 billion because of those unpeaceful demonstrations. Order, and some of these, Senator, they are lawyers.
What is your point of order, Senator Mazayo?
Bwana Spika, singependa kumuingilia dadangu katikati na ule Unajua ambao hawajui Kiswahili.
Order, senators.
Ambao hawajui Kiswahili, Bwana Spika.
May the senator for Kilifi be heard in silence, please.
Ambao hawaelewi Kiswahili.
I don't see anything funny about that statement.
Yeah.
Unless.
Kwa hiyo ningependelea Bwana Spika nimuulize, je, ni sawa kusema ya kwamba kwa sababu ya yale yaliyojiri katika huko nje, sio hapa ndani ya bunge, kazi ya bunge ni tofauti na ile kazi ya nje ni tofauti.